All right, let's begin with homework exercise number 19 from section 7.1. The bar graph shows the number of bachelor's degrees in thousands awarded to men and women in the U.S. for selected years, with projections for 2010. The functions mx equals 3.5 times x plus 472 and wx equals 13.2x plus 443 model the number of bachelor's degrees in thousands awarded to men and women X years after 1980. Use this information to solve parts A and B. Use the equation for W to find W5. So W5 is evaluating the W function at 5. So wherever there's an X, we're going to put in 5 for W. The W function's right here, 13.2 times 5, right? X is 5. There's our X, plus 443. So that's what we're going to do. We're putting it in the for X, we're substituting in the value of 5. So obviously, with these numbers, we'll do it on our calculator. So we go ahead and put in 13.2 times 5, or 5 in parentheses, plus 443 for the W function, and we get 509. Okay, interpret W5. Now, 5 is what? Is X, which is the number of years after 1980, right? And then the answer, 509, is the number of degrees in thousands, right? So approximately in thousands, 509 thousands were awarded to women in the year what? 5 years after 1980 would be, add 5, of course, we can do it in our head, in the year 1985, right? So again, that's in thousands, so be careful. You got to put in 509,000. So approximately 509,000 bachelor's degree were awarded to women in the year 5 years after what? 1980. So it'll be 1985. Okay? Identify this information as a point on the graph of the function for woman. So again, the X value, again, okay, so again, the X value is horizontally the years after 1980, right? So remember, it was the X value was 5, and then degrees in thousands, so it would be 509. Again, it's in thousands, so all we need to do is put 509, right? And then that corresponds to 509,000. So they're just saying the X value is 5 and the Y value is a number of bachelor's degree, 509. 5 being 5 years after 1980. Or we evaluated the function at 5. So again, an ordered pair, we need parentheses, or you can select the bottom right one, ordered pair. The X value is 5. And the Y value was in thousands, the number of degrees, 509. All right, very good. Oh, okay, does W5, oh, one more part, I'm sorry. Does the function W5 overestimate or underestimate the actual data shown by the graph? Well, now what? In 1985, the number of women is in blue, right? So woman is blue. It's got 510, right? So so the correct answer is 510. We got what? 509. So we were under by 1, right? So again, you're comparing the number we got underestimates the number in the chart, right? Underestimates, we win below it, right? Because the number in the chart for 585 for women is 510, okay? And by how much? Again, we got 509. They say it's 510. So by 1, again, remember it's thousands. Be careful, I was going to put in 1. So 510 is the answer in the chart. 509,000 was our answer, so it's off by what? 1 509, 5010, but it's really thousands, so it's off by 1,000 degrees, right? Because it's in thousands. So the 1 stands for number of thousands. So 1 would stand for, of course, 1,000. So 1,000. So be careful there. You got to put the answer back in 1,000. All right, very good. Okay, determine whether the ordered pair is a solution of the given linear function. Okay, so in this one we have 4x plus 5y equals 19. Okay, you take 1, 3, right? So x is 1 and y is 3. You substitute them in here and you see if it's equal to 19. So again, you know x is the first value, right? So 4 times 1 plus 5 times y. The y is the second coordinate, which is 3. All right, so what do you get here? 4 times 1 is 4. 5 times 3 is 15. 4 plus 15 is 19. And that's what the right side is, 19. So it checks out okay. So we know we are correct. So we know that it is a solution of the ordered pair. It is correct because both sides are equal. So that's what you got to do. Substitute in the values and make sure both sides are equal. So in this one, the answer is definitely 1, 3 is yes. Okay, same idea, different values, 2, 0. So the x is 2, right, and the y is 0. So 4 times x, the x is 2, plus 5 times the y value is 0. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 5 times 0 is 0. 8 plus 0 is 8, and it's supposed to equal 19. This is what? Obviously wrong. So it is not a solution. The two sides are not equal. When the two sides don't come out to be the same, then it is not a solution. Okay, and finally 0, 4. Okay, so the x value is 0, right? So 4 times 0 plus 5 times the y value, which is 4. 4 times 0 is 0. 5 times 4 is 20. 0 plus 20 is 20. But what? It's supposed to equal 19. They're not equal. So the answer is no, right? The two sides don't come out to be the same. So it is not a solution. Okay, now similar to 20, number 21, but we got to find what we're missing. We have the equation x minus 2y equals -1. Complete the ordered pair. You're missing the first coordinate, which is the x, right? You're given the y. The -3 is the second coordinate, which is the y. So you put in -3 for the y. You're trying to solve for x. So you leave x in there minus, there's a subtraction, 2 times y, which the y value they tell you is -3 equals -1. So you substitute in this value for the y, and then you're going to solve for x. Now be careful here. Subtract 2 times, you're subtracting 2 times a -3 is a -6. So actually it's x minus a -6, which would make it x plus 6 equals -1. Subtracting a negative is plus a positive. That's how I get plus 6. To solve for x now, I would subtract 6 from both sides to make it 0. And a -1 minus 6, again, you do it on your calculator, is a -7. -1 minus 6 would be plus a -1 plus a -6. Two negatives you add together, you get a -7. So that would be our answer. When the y value is -3, then we solved for x, and we got the x value is a -7. So right there, -7. Okay, and now the second order pair, similar idea, but what? You're given the first coordinate, the 9, so that's the x value, right? So x minus 2y equals -1. The x is 9. So put in 9 for the x, solve for y. All right, so 9 minus 2y equals -1. Subtract 9 from both sides, right? So you get rid of this. So then 0 minus 2y, we're just left with a negative 2y. Negative 1 minus 9 is negative 1 plus negative 9, which is a negative 10. Do it on your calculator if you need to. Be careful. Now to solve for y, we need to do what? To undo multiplication, we divide by the negative 2, right? So we do it on both sides because negative 2 divided by negative 2 is equal to a positive 1, right? And 1 times y is just y. We're solving for y. A negative 10 divided by a negative 2, negative divided by a negative is a positive. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So we get y is 5. So when the x value is 9, right, we put in x is 9. We did the algebra steps. We solved, and we got y is 5. So then that would go there in order to make it an ordered pair to be correct, right, to make both sides equal. So we get the y coordinate is 5. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and do the table values. Here again, the same idea, just in a table. So y equals negative x plus 2. X is 0, right? So put in 0 for x. Y equals the opposite of 0 plus 2. Opposite of 0 is still 0, so 0 plus 2 is equal to 2. So y equals 2 when x is 0, right? So you're putting in the x value 0, solving for y, and then you would get the value 2. Okay, now what do we do here? We got the y value is 0, right? The y value is 0, so we again, y equals negative x plus 2. The y value is 0, so y equals negative x plus 2. Solve for x, so we subtract 2 from both sides. 0 minus 2 is a negative 2. These cancel, equals a negative x. Now be careful, we want x. So to get a negative x, to solve for x, you divide by negative 1. Negative 2 divided by negative 1 is a positive 2. Negative x divided by negative 1, and negative divided by negative is a positive. X divided by 1 is simply x. Or you can think of it as multiplying by negative 1. Either way, so now what we get is finally we solve for x, right? Positive x, and it equals a positive 2, because a negative divided by a negative is a positive. Okay? So when y is 0, x is 2. And finally, when x is negative 4, so again, we're going to have what? Y, right? X is negative 4. Y is the opposite, right? Negative is already in there. And then x is negative 4, right? So you've really got two negatives. So the opposite of negative 4 is what? A positive 4. Be careful. And then 4 plus 2, we know both are positive. Can do that in our head and get y equals 6. Again, the formula has a negative in it, and then the x value is negative 4. So it's the opposite from the formula, and then the x value is negative 4. So the opposite of negative 4 is a positive 4. 4 plus 2 is equal to 6. So we get, when x is a negative 4, y is 6. Again, well, let me do it. Y is 6. We could have done that on our calculator, right? The opposite, right? And then what? X is a negative 4, right? So there's a negative 4. Finish the formula, plus 2, and we get our answer 6, okay, which is what we did pencil and paper. Okay, we're going to stop this session here. If you have any questions, send me an email at tswears@hodges.edu or call me at 239-938-7805. Thank you.